Disclaimer: this video reflects my personal experiences and insights I've gained during my time in the U.S. military. Please note that experiences can vary widely, and what I share here might not be the same for everyone. This is not an official stance of the military, just my own take based on my journey. Now, here's the brief for today's video. We're exploring the 4 key areas of advantages you can gain from serving in the U.S. military. Advantage 1 is financial leverage, which is major expenses being covered. Advantage 2, educational leverage, which is degrees, certifications, and skills. Advantage 3, social leverage, which is networking and travel opportunities. And finally, advantage 4, time leverage, taking advantage of the free time you'll have. Timestamps will be in the description box and comment section down below. Now let's get started. Alright, now we're going into advantage 1, major expenses covered, or financial leverage. I included some screenshots of the biggest expenses people have, but if I had to use my own experience, I would say housing, food, and transportation. Housing consists of either rent or your mortgage, paying the bills that are associated with owning a house, such as light, water, electricity, miscellaneous taxes, and if you do own, then the cost of maintenance/upkeep, such as home insurance, HOA fees, roof leakage, your garden cutting the grass, garage door malfunctions, etc. So housing just consists of the expenses that you'll incur while owning a property, the miscellaneous bills, upkeep, maintenance if something goes wrong, etc., etc. And now for food, whether that's eating out or you're cooking your own meals, from my experience, this can range from $300 to $500 a month. The screenshot I included from the labor statistics included that the average American household is spending about $400 a month on groceries. Now, for transportation, that includes the amount to get to and from work, commuting to activities you partake in, and or the cost associated with owning or leasing a vehicle. I included a screenshot that indicated the average monthly car payment ranges from $400 to $700 a month. This doesn't include the cost of maintenance and or potential repair to said vehicle. And potential repair to said vehicle could be you suffer some bumper damage, you have to replace your tires, replace the battery, transmission, that kind of stuff. Also, the average American spends between $130 to $200 a month on gas for their vehicle. I brought up all of this information to say that a bulk of your major expenses will be covered while you're in the military. When you first join, typically you'll be in training for the first 6 months, and depending on your military occupation, that time may extend or be less. And during this time, you'll be living in the barracks, eating at the chow hall, and transportation will be provided. 3 of the major expenses you'll have as an adult covered. Then, once you complete training, if you're not married, then you'll continue to live in the barracks and have access to the chow hall for 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And depending on your location, you may or may not have to purchase a vehicle. I know some military folks who primarily carpooled so that they can save up enough money to purchase a vehicle, or just to save up enough money in general. Or if you get the chance to deploy or go on a special duty assignment, the time frame can range from 6 months to a year and even further. And during those times, transportation will not be needed and or will be provided. In retrospect, the main bills I had was phone, Wi-Fi, and maybe transportation with the associated expenses. Since we get paid bi-weekly, your first paycheck should be able to cover your necessities. And this is where the financial leverage comes in. With a guaranteed monthly income, you can set financial plans and goals well in advance than you potentially could as a civilian. The necessity for savings is low, and you can invest heavily. I say that because as a civilian, a good rule of thumb is 6 months to a year worth of savings. You never know when you could lose your job or when another pandemic or emergency may occur. And as long as you don't jeopardize your military career, your typical military contract is about 4 years. That's about 4 years in which you do not need to worry about savings. So you can maximize your investments more than someone who lacked job security / financial leverage. Now, speaking on the lack of necessity for savings, that does not mean you just tarnish away your military income, right? You still want to use it wisely. If you're not investing, at least save it, at least put it to your TSP, at least put it to good use. Do not waste your money every month and live military and live paycheck to paycheck because you're in the military, right? A common argument that I hear in this area is that when starting off in the military, the income is low. Now, here's my perspective, right? If you look at just the number, understandable, correction, but the majority of your military income is discretionary. Let me break things down for you. Disposable income is the amount you have left after paying taxes, deductions, etc. Discretionary income is basically what's left after covering your major or necessary expenses, such as housing, food, transportation, etc. Now take a look at the spreadsheet, right? For this example, I set the monthly income to $2,000 a month. This is about the pay range you'll receive starting out in the military as a E1, as a private, just first enlisting and just starting from the lowest rank, right? Now, cells 3 to 7. I'm going to highlight these for you. Cells 3 to 7 will be used in your disposable income, and cell 8 is your discretionary income, or what's remaining and what can be used for whatever you want without consequences. In this example, we'll set the expenses based on the average of the research, right? Your counterpart in the civilian sector earning $2,000 a month, like you, have no room to put money into their savings and or have any discretionary income, because you'll have to think about it like this, right? If you're a civilian earning $2,000 a month, where are you living? If you're not living with your parents, where are you living? Do you have roommates? You're gonna be paying rent, right? And even if you're just living with your parents, it doesn't just guarantee you're just living rent free. More than likely, you'll be contributing in some way, shape, or form, which is why one of the reasons why for a civilian I put $1,500, because the average monthly mortgage payment is can range from $1,600 to $2,000 a month. So I just put $1,500 just to balance it out. And I put 0 for the military because, like I said, if you're not married, you're living in the barracks. If you're not married, you're living in the barracks. So I put 0 for housing. And even if you are married, you'll get an additional income depending on your area to help with the housing. So it doesn't mean if you have to own a house when you're married, it just destroys your paycheck. No, you get paid extra to suffice the housing requirement financially, dependent on your location, because in some areas housing may be more expensive than others, right? And like I was saying, the civilian counterpart earning $2,000 a month have no room to put money into their savings and or have any discretionary income remaining. This is what you call living paycheck to paycheck. It's a high risk position to be in. And I give another example, right? This is example number 2. For example number 2, the civilian counterpart is now earning $3,000 a month, but now only has $100 remaining as discretionary income. And now for the last example, right, the civilian counterpart is now making $4,000 a month, or double the military income, or double the military income has just over the same amount of. Sorry about that. I'm saying that the civilian counterpart has double the military income, but they have roughly the discretionary income. And now you may be asking what this means, right? From my interpretation of this, or what this means is that as a military individual starting off with just your $2,000 a month, you have the same amount of discretionary income as someone making double your income. Now, being a civilian here doesn't look good, but in the future videos, I'll go into ways I'm working around this in the future. But this is what I mean with financial leverage. With that $1,000, which is the discretionary income, right? You can invest all of it. You can save all of it. You essentially have the same purchasing. I wouldn't say purchasing power. You essentially have the same investing power as someone making double your income, right? And this is what I mean with the power of financial leverage, right? And you have to remember too, right? A civilian counterpart, you're gonna have more. You're gonna have more responsibilities, financial, or more. The correct term I should say would be obligations. You're gonna have more obligations financially than someone in the military sector. A lot of our financial obligations, it gets taken out of our paycheck, so you don't even see it. It's all taken into account for: housing, food, health, medical, dental. A lot of this is all taken care of. We don't even see it. It all just happens in the background. But on the civilian side, you'll have to take care of this. You'll have to find your own home insurance, health insurance, sourcing your own sources of food, right? And this is on the lower end of groceries. This can range more, and this is not taking consideration if this individual has a family or not, right? But regardless of the point, right? Just looking at the numbers, overall, this is cleaner, right? Your simple starting monthly income, your $2,000, right? And really, transportation is optional. Like I said, you can be on a deployment, and deployment doesn't necessarily mean you're going to war. Deployment is just you're away from your assigned duty location, your assigned duty station. You could be lending support overseas. You could be just doing some training exercises. So, yeah, and during that time, either you maybe return your vehicle, rent it out, whatever you want to do. That's legal, of course, right? So this 400 is really optional, and yeah, it's optional, right? Really, the one necessity you have would be your phone and Wi-Fi, because the internet usage has now become a necessity. So really, the phone / Wi-Fi would probably be your main expense. If I'm being honest here, you're starting out, more than likely phone / Wi-Fi is going to be your main expense, and transportation that's one way I see that trips people up. They'll because due to their stable income, they'll make purchase a vehicle that's way out of their price range, way out of their income level. And mind you, we get paid bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks from this $2,000, that's like $1,000, right? $1,000 bi-weekly. Their first check would go just to their vehicle alone. Their first check, or even a little bit of their second check, is just going to the vehicle alone. Do not put yourself in that position. You're going to set yourself behind, right? I would ride out, honestly, not needing transportation for as long as you can. And I would allocate that money to your savings. If not your savings, then invest in. That can be stocks, crypto, real estate, your TSP, whatever the case may be, right? And that right there is financial leverage. And financial leverage consisted of the major expenses being covered in the military, the impact on investing in financial risk, and we compared it to the civilian sector. But I didn't go into financial risk. Let me touch on some financial risk some more. And by financial risk, I mean, being that your contract is 4 years, right? And most of your income is discretionary, you can take the risk as in investing aggressively. Right, investing aggressively. You can touch certain stocks, or you can touch certain digital assets that you couldn't touch if you were in the civilian sector, because you were going to need that money for a rainy day. But really, there is not. If you're in the military and you don't jeopardize your career, like I said, there won't be a rainy day for about 3 to 4 years. So that's about 3 to 4 years for you to be able to invest aggressively, right? This does not mean gamble. Of course, it means do your due diligence, do your research, invest in what makes sense. But there won't be any rainy day for the next 3 to 4 years if you don't jeopardize your career. And that alone can set you miles ahead of someone else who lacks this information, or isn't in the position where a rainy day can happen any second. If you're just working a regular job, you really can get fired whenever the employer wants to fire you. But like I said, as long as you do not jeopardize your military career, you won't have to worry about that for about 3 to 4 years. So that's not having to worry about savings for about 3 to 4 years, and you can invest aggressively and learn the stock market, learn digital assets or cryptocurrency, learn real estate, learn forex, right? Learn whichever financial market best drags your attention, right? Now let's move on to educational leverage, right? So educational leverage. I'm sure you've heard of the free college benefit associated with joining the military, right? Let me break this down, utilizing, military information and my personal experience, right? Now, this is the same with all the branches. And being that I'm in the Marine Corps, we get about $4,500 in tuition assistance. And that's $4,500 each FY, right? And each FY means fiscal year, which is October to October, because in the military, the start of the fiscal year is in October. You can also combine tuition assistance with student aid, which is essentially federal student aid, where you apply for basically additional income to help you to tackle the cost of tuition, the cost of schooling. Basically, the cost associated with schooling is what you would apply for with student aid. And it would apply for a student aid. It's almost like additional income towards schooling, towards contributing to what you may need financially for your classes. Let me break down my experience with online education. You don't necessarily have to do online. You can wait till you get out of the military and utilize your GI Bill, but I wanted to get started right away. So I hit the fleet late March of 2020. And what hit the fleet means you've completed basic training, and you've completed your school training, you completed any other additional training, and you're at your official duty station, ready to work, ready to get started, right? So I was ready to get started late March of 2020. And in May of 2020, I started online education. The first online institution I attended was American Military University, and I graduated in June of 2021, right? And that was just my associates in general education. I did not know at the time, right? Because I was maybe 17, 18. I was a young guy, right? I didn't necessarily know at the time what I wanted to major in. So I just told myself that by the time I gain some more life experience, by the time I get this degree, my associate's degree, I'll learn by then, right, what I want to major in, what I would like my bachelor's to be in. But since I didn't know at the time, I said, you know what, let's just get this associate's degree and I'll learn along the way. And if you're wondering how I was able to get my associate so quickly, is because at this point in your military career, the training you've the word I'm thinking of is endured. I don't want to say endured. Endured made it seem like, you were getting tortured. But at this point, the military training that you've endured, to this point, is transferable as college credits, right? And also, I did a bunch of classes on this website called Sophia Learning. So if you could take a look at this Excel sheet right here. So JST is Joint Service Transcript. That's from my military service at the time. And mind you, I had just came out of training, so it's not like I'm where I'm at now. I just came out of training, what I'm saying, still wet behind the ear, as they say. So I had some credits in first aid, because we did do some, they call it triple C. It's basically like tactical casual care, or tactical combat care. Basically, if you were in a wartime situation and you see a casualty, you see your body's down, being able to render him aid, or being able to render yourself aid if you were to ever be wounded, shot, etc., etc. We go down to land navigation, right? Which is as it sounds, right? Having a map and a compass and a pen, and being able to plot on a chart, plot on a map, and being able to navigate. Marksmanship is, when you join the Marine Corps, or if you join the Marine Corps, you'll hear this a lot. Every Marine's a rifleman, right? We have a rifle range, and all of us needs to qualify on the rifle range, right? So that was transferable as well. Physical fitness. I'm not sure this is for the other branches, but if you aren't aware, Marine Corps has the hardest boot camp, right? I ain't gonna go into it. I don't want to scare you guys, but physical fitness, right? We're gonna be doing a lot of PT or physical training, as they say, right? We do pull-ups, crunches, running, that kind of stuff. Self-defense, MIC-MAP, as they say in the Marine Corps, Marine Corps Martial Arts Program. It basically incorporates disciplines from various martial arts and they combine it into one, right? Orienteering. I'm not sure what this is exactly. I'm thinking maybe it's this leadership training. I guess principles of physical fitness. We do have to be fit. You know what I'm saying? And I believe this is transfer. Yep, because I'm a supply marine, right? 3043 supply admin. So my MOS school or my job training school or my military occupation, that was transferable as well as credits, right? And Sophia Learning, which is this website. This is Sophia Learning. You're able to do college classes, right, and transfer them over to whichever university that you're doing. That's Purdue, that's American Military University, that's Arizona State, or whichever university or online institution you're attending to at the time. Sophia Learning can help you to knock out some college level classes and transfer them over to receive credits, right? As you can see, I did a lot of classes with Sophia Learning and transferred in credits. So this assisted in getting my degrees, faster than average, right? So as you can see from the screenshots, right? And then I switched to Purdue Global University and I began my Bachelor's of Science degree in General Finance. And this was in July 2021. And this year, May, in a few weeks, actually, I'll receive my bachelor's degree, right? And honestly, I could have received it earlier, but there was just periods throughout time where I was unable to continue schooling, right? And after my bachelor's degree, I'm gonna go ahead and continue on to earn my master's in informational technology, right? I say all of this to say that you can utilize your military benefits, such as your transferable credits and the tuition assistance, to knock out your degrees, right, before your civilian counterpart could. Now take a look at the spreadsheet, right? Take a look at the spreadsheet again. Here's why you want a degree, right? So we're looking at some salaries, right? Per the according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, right? And there is a strong correlation between education and income. And for some reason, as I'm saying that, I'm hearing someone say something about you can earn a good pay without needing a degree. Listen, that's the outliers, right? I'm not talking about the outliers. I'm just saying on average, there is a strong correlation between education and your income level, right? And it's broken down by if you just have a high school diploma, if you just have an associate's degree, if you just have a bachelor's degree, if you have a master's degree or a doctorate or a PhD. And to break the numbers down even bigger, right? Men with bachelor's degree earn approximately $900,000 more throughout their lifetime or through lifetime earnings than a high school graduate. And women with bachelor's degree earn $600,000 more, right? And men with graduate degrees earn $1.5 million more in lifetime earnings than someone with just a high school diploma. Can you fathom can you fathom the importance a degree has in regards to someone's income level, right? Now, let me touch on some government jobs now, right? In case you guys want to, right, commission over into an officer for whichever branch, or if you want to go work into another branch, FBI, CIA, whichever the case may be. I'm not too sure about the CIA, but FBI for sure, and Department of State. A lot of these government agencies a hard requirement, a non-negotiable, a non-waivable is going to be your bachelor's degree. You need that bachelor's degree. It can be in anything, but a hard, firm requirement is that bachelor's degree. And if you're in the military and you're enlisted, and if you want to take your career to the next level, right, either through commissioning or through joining one of these governmental agencies, you're going to need this bachelor's degree. And it's not like you'll be on the civilian side, right? If you don't have any college savings, your parents didn't save any money for you to go to college, more than likely, right? I'm pretty sure most people can attest to this. Most people are taking out student loans to pay for their education, right? And if you're going through the military, like I said, I hadn't, as far as I can remember, right? As of right now, I can't recall having to dig into my own pockets to cover a class. Like I said, we had tuition assistance, we have student aid, you have plenty of resources to ensure that you're able to complete your degree, at least your bachelor's, right? I know people who are working on their master's or have their master's, right? But I'm going to soon be one of those guys. I'm working on my master's, but overall, I can't stress it enough, right? And even jobs in the civilian sector, I'm looking at some of these, I guess you could say, software engineering, IT jobs, or some of these high position jobs in the civilian sector. The requirement is, a hard requirement is the bachelor's degree. And here's where you can combine it, right? Here's where you can combine it. Your work experience, or here's how you can be very competitive in the job market, is that you can leverage and combine the fact that you have military experience and a degree and formal education. Because, like I said, my MOS was a supply, right? Let's say my MOS was supply. So if I were to work in supply chain management, for like Amazon or a big company, I can leverage and say, not only do I have a degree, but I also have work experience, right? This is some things I see trip some guys up, is because they come out of college with a degree, and to get the job they want, they need work experience. But they spent all their time in college, so they don't have any work experience. So if you can come out of the military with work experience, with your degree, and get that high earning position that your civilian counterpart who just came out of college wouldn't be able to have, right? And and no student debt / loans, right? And for skills, right, to go into skills, touch on some skills. Depending on your duty station, there'll be opportunities for you to learn like HVAC related skills or welding skills, and depending on your MOS, not only would you already have, like I said earlier, you would already have invaluable work experience, but you could double that down with certification and a formal education as well. So this means you'd have a valuable work experience and formal education as well. All of this, right? All of this contributes to educational leverage and will give you an advantage, right? All right, let's move on now to advantage number 3, social leverage, which consists of people, networking, and travel. And as the saying goes, right, your network is your net worth. I'll say it again for the guys in the back. Your network is your net worth. So let's break it down, right? Let's get started. Social leverage. Now we're moving into social leverage, which consists of the people you'll meet while serving in the military, opportunities to travel abroad, etc. Depending on your duty station, there will be ample opportunities to deploy and travel overseas. And here's my experience, right, when it comes to that. First, before I even go in, I was going to go into MSG or Marine Security Guard. First, I was stationed in 29 Palms, California, in the desert. It's a good base, right? Don't listen to the rumors. It's a pretty good location, and there are opportunities for us to go on mules, to go over there into Australia. So, like I said, depending on your to Camp Pendleton, in one of the more popular cities in California, right? There's opportunities to travel. Right, there's opportunities to travel. You just gotta ask, right? Closed mouths don't get fed, as they say. You gotta ask, you gotta look, you gotta pursue for it. But being in the Marine Corps, right? I joined MSG, or Marine Security Guard, which is a special duty assignment in the Marine Corps, right? And to give you, summarize that, I'm currently working with, for example, Department of State personnels and other federal agencies. I've had opportunities to meet ambassadors and high socioeconomic individuals that, without being on this program, more than likely I would have not been able to meet. Excuse me. I've even known people on this program who've even met the president. I say all of this because being around these individuals may open doors to opportunities that may have not been present before, especially when it comes to career changes. That is a big obstacle for both civilians and government personnel. So it helps being around individuals in career fields that you may want to potentially join. It may also introduce you to a career field that you may not have known before but have gained an interest in. This is another way to move up the ladder with the information and the people that you have access to that others don't. This is social leverage, an advantage that few possesses. And like I said earlier, right? A wise person once said, your network is your net worth. So, right, to touch on that some more, right? Especially when it comes to transferring into different careers. It's an obstacle for everyone, right? It's an obstacle for everyone. But being around so many different people, so many different type of government branches or federal agencies, right? You bump elbows with people with different positions in your life, right? From my personal experience, I'm a young guy, so most people I meet, they're much older than me. Especially on this program, they're much older than me. They're way more established. They have way more wisdom and time and knowledge. So I'm able to, pick these guys' brains and learn a thing or two. And it really helps when it comes to, career progression, or if you want to potentially change careers, right? Because you have hands-on experience into the career field that you may potentially want to transfer in once you're finished with your line of work. It could be a better position that you may not have heard of before, right? And to go into this image you see before you, right? I'm the young handsome gentleman all the way to the right, tall, dark, and handsome, as they say, right? And the two younger gentlemen adjacent to me, those are other Marines on the program. And the older gentleman, right? He's Secretary Blinken, right? And he's an American lawyer and a diplomat serving as the 71st United States Secretary of State. He previously served as Deputy National Security Advisor from 2013 to 2015 and Deputy Secretary of State from 2015 to 2017 under President Barack Obama. And I just have to say, this doesn't just mean I'm meeting these guys and they're just telling me inside information, but I'm just saying, look at where I'm at now, right? You're in the military, you're overseas, you're bumping elbows with, people in the Secretary of State, you're bumping elbows with high-ranking individuals in their respective branch. Because you have to remember, because, MSG or Marine Security Guard, you're working in embassies. For these guys to be in the MSG, for these guys to be working at the embassy, they're in high-ranking positions. They're not just some young Marine who's just headstrong and they just sent him all over the place, right? These guys are established. They have a degree, they have work experience, they're mature. They're not just going to send anyone to the embassy. So when you're working at these embassies, right, pretty much anyone you meet is going to be full of knowledge, full of wisdom, full of experience, full of education, right? So, and you're around these individuals 24/7. So, and anytime you want, and they're pretty friendly for the most part. So pretty much anytime you want, you can point them on the side, like, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am. Right? Could you lend a ear? Could you give me some guidance and wisdom?" Right? That right there, social leverage. That right there, that alone can put you in a position or give you the advantage over your peers, or over the value this has is immeasurable. The value this has is immeasurable. Lastly, right, let's move on to advantage 4, which is Time leverage, right? Time leverage consists of the amount of free time we're granted being in the military, right? You can take a look at the spreadsheet here, right? So specifically this right here, right? Being in the U.S. military, we get 30 days of paid vacation plus the 11 national holidays. So what this means is, every year we accumulate 30 days of paid leave, and whenever a holiday comes up, we'll get those days off as well. And mind you, these are paid, right? I'm not too sure exactly how it works in the civilian sector. I've been in the military since I was 17 years old, but from what I've seen and what I've heard is that if you take leave, whether that be sick leave or whatever kind of leave, right, you're not getting paid unless it's explicit paid time off. You're not getting paid when you take these sick leaves. So I know a lot of individuals who are working these jobs, and they may be under the weather, sick, having something going on, but because they know that they won't get paid if they leave, if they take that leave, they'll just push through it and go to work regardless, right? And now with the military, right? Generally in the military, you'll be working Monday through Friday, and you'll have the weekends off. Typically, right? Like I said, as a disclaimer, this may vary, but generally Monday through Friday you'll work and you'll have the weekends off, right? Monday through Friday, it's gonna range from like 7-8 a.m. right to 3-4 p.m. right, and you'll have your lunch break, couple hour lunch break in between that, right? So now regarding the 30 days of paid leave, you can request leave and you'll still earn your paycheck. As well as during the holidays, you'll still earn your paycheck. And from speaking with people who came from the civilian sector into the military, or comparing leave days to people in the civilian sector, we've agreed that in the military you get a lot more free days off, right? Now with this extra time, how you spend it is user discretion. And I say that because it's very easy to lose track of time. It's very easy, especially in today's day and age where we have the internet. It's very easy to just death scroll on social media, or just get consumed get consumed in the chaos. But to give some guidance, right, or relay some wisdom, some recommendations that I would have for how you can spend your free time would be, right, the first thing is to learn a skill. And even if you want to make the military a career, right, you never know when you may need to transition to another career field. And this doesn't have to be a bad thing. I've known individuals in this position where it came to that time where they had to retire from the military, but they didn't fully prepare themselves to transition into their next line of work, into their next career. So even though you are in the military and you can make this a career, it's a pretty good career, right? It's still good to learn a skill, to learn a trade, to learn something that you can transition to. So when your time is up in the military, it can be a smooth transition. You won't be stressing about or getting anxious about what you're going to do next. It'll be one smooth transition from one place to the next. Second thing I'd recommend, right, is learn how to invest / start a business / side hustle, right? And you can take a look at the screen. You can take a look at the spreadsheet right here, right? Right. So, according to this, screenshot right here, right? They're saying inflation is about, at least for the month of February 2024 is about 3%. Right? It's about 3%. But let's just say it hovers between 2 to 4%. Right? And I'm sure you've also heard about how things were cheaper, in previous time, like, during the time of your parents or your grandparents, right? Like, take a look at the screenshot, this one right here. And it's basically depicting to you the purchasing power of the US dollar over time, right? Like they would say, like you would hear people say, oh, in previous generations things were cheaper. Yeah, of course, right? As you can see, right? And I'm saying all of this to say that don't be comfortable with just your military income. Eventually, you will need more money. So I would recommend that you leverage the free time that you're granted to earn more money, right? And not just to pick up a second job, which is it's a good starting option, but I would recommend using your free time to create something valuable, right? To create something valuable that can earn you income. For example, this YouTube video. If this YouTube video amasses, a wide range of audience and views, it'll generate me revenue, or it'll generate me income, and it will continue to do so way into the future. And I would recommend you take, not necessarily create a YouTube channel or YouTube video, which is also a good option, but what I'm trying to relay to you is not directly exchanging your time for money. What you're doing is, or I'm trying to have you do, is exchange your time for an asset, and the asset is what's generating you money, right? So to explain that further, I did regarding the example I'm giving with the YouTube video, right? I didn't directly exchange my time for the money. I exchanged my time for the asset, and the asset earned me money, right? And in this case, the asset is the YouTube video. And I say this example, or I would prefer you do this method, because there is a limit to how many hours we can work in a day, especially when you have a full-time career and other time obligations. This is why I'd recommend either investing your time into a skill that can earn you more money, or investing your time into learning how to invest / starting a side hustle that you can scale. Our time is limited, so you have to use it wisely, right? And I provided some ideas to get your gears running. So take a look. I guess you could say take a look at these two screenshots right here. So some examples of some high earning skills are that you can learn online are, copywriting, web development, which I personally have done. I'm currently certified as a full stack software engineer, right? Graphic designer, project management, social media marketing, right? Social media has become very big, right? I remember being in school and social media wasn't that big. And I remember, as social media began to progress, there was more jobs, more occupations that you can do in social media, especially social media marketing or even managing, right? Data analytics, digital marketing, user experience design, video editing, right? Which kind of goes in with the YouTube thing. And instead of you creating your own YouTube videos, you can edit someone else's YouTube video at a cost, of course, right? And some examples of some side hustles that you can scale would be freelancing, programming or web development, online courses / coaching, e-commerce, app development, content creation, crypto trading or investment consulting, affiliate marketing, cybersecurity services, fitness coaching or personal training, technical writing or blogging. From these, right? Now I would say for these from this list, right? I would say e-commerce, content creation, right? Even blogging, right? Those are probably gonna be your biggest hitters right there that you can scale, right? I could be wrong, but I won't say wrong, but I lack the experience in these other realms. But from what I've seen, e-commerce and content creation and affiliate marketing, those are some really big hitters. You can scale that pretty much infinitely, right? And it's kind of like a for content creation, it's kind of like a YouTube video, right? You're only limited by the amount of people who watch your videos, right? And it's kind of like e-commerce as well, right? You're only limited to, I guess, how many people may purchase your products or how much products you have in inventory. But we live in a global marketplace, so individuals from around the world can be purchasing your products at any time, at any time throughout the day, right? Now, for some personal examples, regarding high earning skills would be me learning accounting slash finances, right? Because even though I was a supply marine, I was working supply. I was mainly in fiscal, or I was mainly in the financial section, right? And programming slash engineering. Like I said, I learned and I'm certified in full stack engineering, and my master's degree is going to be in informational technology, right? These are some high earning skills that you can learn online and potentially transition to after your military career. And some examples of scalable side hustles would be, like I said, content creation and e-commerce. Content creation, like I said, there's not necessarily a cap on your income. If it's through ad revenue, right, or through views per revenue, right, earning per click, you're just limited in how many people watch your videos or click on your content or buy your products. There's no earning cap. And it doesn't just mean you're going to be earning millions of dollars. Some days or some months or some years may be slower than others, right? But generally, there's not necessarily a cap on your income, right? Kind of like working a job. There is a cap. There's a cap to how much you can work, or how many hours that you can spend working, or how many hours are in the day, or legal laws, how long you can keep working legally, and or at what age, right? But yeah, these types of side hustles can transition into becoming a full-time business, and I chose these specifically because the only cap on your income is the revenue that you can generate, right? In simple terms, I'm saying you can scale up to earning millions of dollars a month, and with that kind of money, you can start to buy, basically diversify, like buying property, stocks, digital assets. But that's for a later video, right? And now we're towards the end of the video, right? We're at the outro, so to speak. So overall, here are some advantages the military can grant you. If you're seeing this video, this is a real life example. Oh, sorry, I wrote a script, so it confused me for a second. So I should probably edit it out, but hey, let's keep rolling, right? So if you're seeing this video, this is a real life example of me using my time leverage to create value, right? And just a disclaimer that there is more to the military than just this video. I just wanted to share what I've learned along the way, in regards to this topic, right? In regards to advantages. And feel free to leave a comment about a topic for a future video as well, right? And if you enjoyed the video, hey, don't forget to like, subscribe for more content. Leave a comment section down below which advantage, right? Leave a comment down below which advantage you liked, or which advantage you thought was the most coolest, or if you have any questions about military life, etc., etc. And I'll see you all in the next one. But hey, that was kind of a blooper because like I said, I have a little script here. So I'm saying, I wrote in the script, if you're seeing this video, so I'm confused. I'm like, what do I mean by that? But then if I read the next sentence, it was going to say, this is a real life example of me using my time leverage to create value, right? But yeah, that's it. All right. Hey, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. Hey, subscribe and hit that bell notification to be notified of the next video. All right, I'm out of here.